God said, "Hurry up, listen before 11:50, 9 p.m. Chosen one, hear this with every fiber of your being, because this is not a casual message, not a gentle invitation, not a symbolic moment. This is a divine alert. This is a holy summons. This is heaven releasing a time-sensitive command with a seriousness that cannot be ignored. The atmosphere around you is tightening. Time is contracting. The spiritual window before you is brief, loaded, and sacred. If you hesitate, you will watch what was designed for you pass to a different hour, a different timeline, a different path. God is not whispering, He is declaring. He is speaking with thunder, clarity, and precision. When heaven issues a command with a deadline attached, you must understand the weight. What is coming will not wait, will not repeat, will not linger for indecision. This is why the urgency you feel feels like a sacred fire pressing against your chest. Not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Not to overwhelm you, but to position you. Not to burden you, but to align you. Do not delay. Do not hesitate. Do not drown this moment in overthinking. You are standing inside a divine countdown, and the instruction is clear. Move, respond, awaken. Everything in the spiritual realm is converging toward this single moment, this narrow window, this appointed second. You are not being asked to listen, simply you are being commanded to hear. You are not being asked to reflect, you are being required to respond. What heaven has activated is real, immediate, and irreversible. Open your spirit now, steady your heart, and prepare yourself, because what comes next will redefine how you understand time, calling, urgency, and destiny. The urgency pressing on your spirit is not born of fear, but of divine orchestration. What is stirring around you is not random energy or emotional turbulence. It is the movement of heaven itself converging with your timeline. There are moments in life that feel ordinary, and there are moments that carry the unmistakable weight of eternity pressing into time. This is the latter, and you have been summoned into it with purpose. A spiritual acceleration has begun. What once crawled is now running toward you. What once felt distant is closing in with divine precision. What was delayed is now being released. You are living in a moment where heaven is not suggesting, heaven is commanding. When God speaks with urgency, it is never because you are behind. It is because His timing has arrived. Divine timing does not bend to human hesitation. Divine doors do not linger for indecision. When the Spirit moves, it moves with intention, momentum, and authority. This is why your spirit feels more alert than usual, why your inner world has been vibrating with a strange mixture of anticipation and intensity. It is not a warning, it is a calling. It is not punishment, it is preparation. It is not pressure, it is prophecy. Every sign you have encountered in recent days, the dreams that speak louder than your thoughts, the coincidences that appear too precise to be random, the sudden clarity that cuts through confusion, the numbers or words repeating themselves in your environment, these are not accidents, they are confirmations. They are heaven's fingerprints marking your path, reminding you that what you are walking into has already been established in the unseen. The spiritual realm moves first, and the natural world catches up. You are now standing in the overlap. Do not misunderstand the weight of this moment. You are not being asked to chase anything. You are not being asked to strive, to force, to panic, or to rearrange your life in fear. You are being asked to align. Heaven does not respond to anxiety, it responds to agreement. The blueprint for this season is already alive, already active, already written with your name inked into its design. What is needed now is not your panic, but your presence. Not your worry, but your willingness. Not your fear, but your faith. When divine acceleration arrives, it carries a unique sensation. The atmosphere feels charged, your inner world feels heightened, and your timing feels different. You sense that something is approaching before you see it. You feel the shift before you understand it. This is how spiritual timing functions. God rarely announces the full picture. Instead, He stirs your spirit until your obedience catches up with his intention. That stirring you feel is evidence that heaven has already moved. Chosen one, understand this sacred truth. You were never meant to walk blindly into your destiny. You were meant to recognize the signs, discern the voice, and respond when heaven calls. And heaven is calling now, not softly, not subtly, but with a clarity that shakes the walls of your inner being. Something rare is unfolding beneath the surface of your life, something that will not hesitate simply because you do. You have been summoned into divine alignment, and alignment is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and immediate. When the divine message goes forth with urgency, it means one thing: the moment has arrived. And your only task now is to step into it with courage, with awareness, and with unwavering trust in the one who timed this hour with perfect precision. There comes a point in every spiritual journey when the silence of heaven feels heavier than any spoken word, when delays feel like denials, and when the path ahead seems dim even though your spirit knows it is being guided. This tension is not a sign of abandonment. It is the furnace where discernment, depth, and spiritual maturity are forged. It is in these hidden seasons that the soul learns to hear God in whispers, to see in shadows, and to trust in ways that logic cannot comprehend. C.S. Lewis once wrote in The Problem of Pain, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains." He understood a truth that many overlook. The very discomfort we try to escape is often the instrument heaven uses to shape us. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every season of waiting has been part of a divine curriculum, one that teaches not through information but through transformation. Lewis argued that pain is God's megaphone, awakening a sleeping world. Likewise, your seasons of delay have not been punishments but preparations. They have been the sacred classroom where resilience, humility, and spiritual clarity were quietly constructed. Think back to the nights when you questioned everything, the days when you felt unseen, the moments when no affirmation came. These moments were not empty, they were formative. Every time you chose faith over frustration, you grew. Every time you resisted bitterness, you matured. Every time you held on despite trembling, something within you strengthened. And though you may not have realized it, you were being refined for a moment exactly like this. The refining process always precedes revelation. Before any great shift, heaven ensures the vessel is ready to carry what is coming. That is why the previous season required so much of you. It demanded endurance, patience, and a willingness to walk forward without certainty. It demanded a quiet courage. It demanded an internal transformation that could hold external blessing. Growth rarely announces itself. It builds silently, like roots expanding beneath the soil. What seemed like stagnation was actually construction. Now the clarity that once felt distant is beginning to surface. The spiritual fog that surrounded you was never meant to confuse you. It was meant to strip away distractions so that only what matters remains. Delays sharpen vision. Silence amplifies inner hearing. Hardship purifies intention. And when the shaping is complete, the spirit becomes attuned to the movement of heaven with remarkable accuracy. This is why, in this present hour, your inner senses have become more sensitive, your intuition sharper, your perspective deeper. What once felt overwhelming now feels purposeful. What once felt random now feels guided. You are recognizing patterns, connections, and confirmations that previously would have gone unnoticed. This is maturity, spiritual maturity born from seasons you did not choose but accepted with obedience. The shaping had to happen before the shift could be entrusted to you. Heaven never accelerates someone who has not first been anchored. And now, because the internal foundation has been laid through silence, struggle, and surrender, you are prepared to step into the divine movement unfolding before you, not as someone desperate, but as someone ready, not as someone uncertain, but as someone refined, not as someone hoping, but as someone aligned. There is a reason you have reached this point in time, and it is not random, accidental, or arbitrary. The path that brought you here, the trials you endured, the storms you navigated, the quiet sacrifices no one saw, was not simply life unfolding, it was intentional shaping. You were set apart, marked, and refined through experiences that would have broken a lesser spirit. And the reason is simple. What is being placed before you now requires a strength that is not borrowed, a faith that is not fragile, and a character that has been tested in fire. Every season you endured has served as evidence that you carry a capacity others do not. While some avoided discomfort, you confronted it. While others surrendered under pressure, you kept moving. While others sought shortcuts, you walked the long road. And every one of those choices revealed something about you, something heaven could trust. Each time you rose after being knocked down, each time you chose integrity when compromise was convenient, each time you believed without proof, something in you aligned more deeply with your purpose. That is a strength, that is courage, that is character. You were not set apart because you were the most talented or the most visible, but because you were willing to grow, willing to change, willing to surrender what was comfortable to embrace what was necessary. Many desire purpose, but few endure the preparation it demands. You did, and it is that endurance that has positioned you for what is unfolding now. The challenges you faced did not diminish you, they distinguished you. They revealed resilience, depth, and discernment qualities essential for carrying the weight of what is coming. Not everyone can withstand seasons of silence without collapsing into doubt. Not everyone can walk through disappointment without hardening their heart. Not everyone can wait for divine timing without forcing their own. You learned to do all three, and that is why this moment belongs to you. Now you stand on the threshold of a shift prepared long ago, and you are no longer the person you once were. You have grown in ways invisible to the world but undeniable to heaven. And because your past has proven your readiness, the present now calls your name. You were not preserved to remain hidden. You were prepared to rise. And everything within you has been shaped for this exact hour. When a divine door opens, it does not open out of convenience, coincidence, or chance. It opens because the appointed time has arrived, and the alignment between heaven and your life has reached its precise moment. The door before you now is not ordinary. It carries a weight, a stillness, a sense of holy urgency that your spirit has already begun to recognize. Nothing about this moment resembles the past, because it is not meant to. This door is a threshold, a crossing point, a spiritual pivot, where what has been hidden transitions into what is about to be revealed. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but your spirit can feel the shift. The air around you seems different. Your thoughts carry new clarity, and your inner knowing whispers that something irreversible has begun. This is what happens when heaven unveils an opportunity that will not appear in the same form again. Divine windows are not repetitive. They are precise. They do not linger. They initiate. And they require the courage of immediate obedience. This door stands open not because you demanded it, but because you grew into it. Every step you took in the dark, every prayer spoken through tears, every moment you continued walking when quitting seemed easier. Those were the keys that unlocked what now stands before you. The opening of this door is heaven's acknowledgement that your preparation has met its moment. It is not a reward. It is a revelation. It is the unveiling of the next chapter that has been waiting behind the curtain of timing. Do not underestimate what it means for a spiritual door to open. When God opens a door, it realigns everything connected to it. It shifts relationships, opportunities, resources, favor, and direction. It breaks cycles. It severs old ties. It elevates you beyond environments that once confined you, and it ushers you into spaces you were always meant to inhabit. But the door will not wait for hesitation. The call is simple. Step forward. Step boldly. Step without dragging the weight of old doubts into the new terrain that has been prepared for you. Understand this. Hesitation is the enemy of a divine opening. Overthinking is the thief of timing. Fear is the shadow that tries to distort what heaven has already illuminated. That is why the message in this hour is not subtle. It is clear. Move, enter, respond. This is not the moment for analysis. It is the moment for alignment. You are not being asked to fully understand what lies on the other side. You are being asked to trust the one who opened the door in the first place. Every major transformation in Scripture required someone to step through a door of faith. Noah built before he saw the rain. Abraham walked before he knew the destination. Moses moved before the sea parted. The principle has never changed. Movement precedes manifestation, and now your movement is what activates what is waiting on the other side. The door is open, the path is lit, the timing is holy, and the invitation is extended with seriousness, urgency, and grace. Some moments reshape the story of a life, and this is one of them. Step through the door while it still stands open, because what awaits you is not small, not temporary, not symbolic. It is destiny taking shape in real time, prepared for the one who dares to walk into it. Stepping through a divine door is not merely about receiving a blessing. It is about accepting the responsibility that comes with transformation. Every shift God initiates carries both promise and weight. And while the open door before you is filled with opportunity, favor, and breakthrough, it also demands a level of commitment that reflects the maturity you have gained. Transformation is never passive. It requires intention. It requires awareness. It requires the courage to leave behind what cannot enter the new realm with you. There is a reason the past season felt heavy, stretching, and refining. It was not designed to weaken you, but to strengthen the muscles of obedience and spiritual clarity. For when this moment arrived, hesitation would no longer have space to speak. You are now being called, not simply to witness change, but to embody it fully, willingly, and courageously. This is the moment when belief must translate into action, when faith must become movement, when conviction must become embodiment. Lewis once wrote in The Problem of Pain, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains." He understood a truth that many overlook. The very discomfort we try to escape is often the instrument heaven uses to shape us. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every season of waiting has been part of a divine curriculum, one that teaches, not through information but through transformation. You cannot mix the old container with the new oil. Every major moment in spiritual history required someone to step forward before clarity arrived. Peter stepped onto the water before he understood how it held him. Joshua crossed the Jordan before he saw the walls of Jericho fall. Mary accepted her calling before she understood its magnitude. The pattern is eternal. Obedience precedes revelation, and the responsibility resting on you now follows the same law. You are not asked to predict. You are asked to participate. You are not asked to explain. You are asked to embody. You are not asked to understand. You are asked to trust. This is the hour when your posture matters as much as your faith. Stand ready, stand willing, stand aligned. The shift ahead will not accommodate a divided heart. What is being released to you is too significant, too precise, too sacred to be carried casually. Transformation requires reverence. It requires intention. It requires your full yes. And as you step into this responsibility, heaven responds. The moment you commit to the new, the old loses its power. The moment you choose alignment, acceleration follows. The moment you say yes, the path opens before you. Before any divine shift manifests in the physical realm, signs begin to ripple through the unseen. They appear not as dramatic explosions, but as subtle, persistent whispers that echo through your thoughts, your dreams, your daily encounters. You may have noticed unusual patterns emerging recently, moments that felt too precise to be coincidences, conversations that arrived at the exact moment you needed clarity, repeated numbers or phrases that seemed to follow you, intuitive nudges that interrupted your routine. These are not accidents, they are signals. They are heaven's way of alerting you that something has already shifted, even if you have not fully recognized it yet. Spiritual signs often appear before understanding does. A dream may stir your spirit long before your mind interprets it. A sense of anticipation may arise before anything visibly changes. An internal pull may guide you toward decisions you cannot explain logically. These are early tremors of a greater movement approaching. And though they may seem small, they carry extraordinary weight. Signs are not meant to satisfy curiosity, they are meant to prepare the heart. They do not exist to entertain, they exist to align. Every major turning point in Scripture was preceded by signs, sometimes subtle, sometimes bold, but always intentional. Moses saw a bush that burned but was not consumed. Elijah heard a whisper that followed the storm. Daniel discerned meaning in dreams others could not interpret. The world may dismiss signs as coincidences, but the Spirit recognizes them as communication. Signs are God's way of bridging the unseen with the seen, the eternal with the present, the divine with the human. The signs you have experienced lately are confirmation that you are not imagining the shift. You are sensing it. The atmosphere around you has been charged, your spirit has been awakened, your awareness has been sharpened, and these signs are not indicators of something distant, they are indicators of something imminent. They reveal that the breakthrough is not preparing to happen, it is already unfolding behind the veil, waiting for the right moment to surface. Understanding these signs does not require mystical knowledge. It requires spiritual sensitivity. It requires presence. It requires the humility to acknowledge that heaven often speaks in ways the natural mind overlooks. And once you recognize the signs for what they are, you no longer question the timing, you recognize the calling. The signs are not asking you to fear. They are asking you to pay attention. They are asking you to listen. They are asking you to position yourself with readiness. For when signs gather, manifestation follows, and the gathering has already begun. There comes a moment in every divine unfolding when the message shifts from gentle guidance to unmistakable command, when heaven no longer whispers but speaks with authority. You have reached that moment now. The instruction placed before you is not ambiguous, not symbolic, not optional. It is clear. Move. Move without hesitation, without overthinking, without dragging yesterday's fears into today's invitation. When heaven issues a command, it is because the alignment is exact, the timing is full, and the window is narrow. This is not pressure, it is precision. The call to move is not a call to chaos. It is a call to obedience. It is the reminder that destiny does not wait for comfort, nor does breakthrough negotiate with doubt. When the divine door stands open, delay becomes the greatest threat. Delay interrupts momentum. Delay distorts clarity. Delay invites confusion. That is why the instruction in this hour is sharpened with urgency. Do not stall, do not shrink, do not return to what is familiar simply because it is safe. Familiarity is not the same as purpose. Safety is not the same as alignment. Comfort is not the same as calling. Throughout Scripture, the greatest miracles unfolded only after someone acted in faith at the moment God spoke. The Red Sea parted after Moses lifted his staff. The walls of Jericho fell after the people marched. The blind were healed after they stepped forward. Movement activates the miracle. Action unlocks the appointed moment. Obedience pulls the unseen into the visible. The pattern has always been the same. God initiates, and the faithful respond. What you feel now, the rising urgency, the sharpening awareness, the sense that waiting is no longer an option, is the inner confirmation that the command is real. You are not being rushed, you are being positioned. A dream may stir your spirit long before your mind interprets it. A sense of anticipation may arise before anything visibly changes. An internal pull may guide you toward decisions you cannot explain logically. These are early tremors of a greater movement approaching, and though they may seem small, they carry extraordinary weight. Signs are not meant to satisfy curiosity, they are meant to prepare the heart. They do not exist to entertain, they exist to align, because the timing has matured, because the door is open, because the opportunity is alive, because the divine momentum will not pause for hesitation. Move forward with courage, with clarity, with conviction. Move as one who knows the moment has been prepared long before you stand in it. Move because the command has been spoken, and when God says move, every realm responds. Holy God, the one who shaped time, who speaks through silence, who writes destiny with hands that never tremble, I come before you with a heart open, steady, and humbled. I acknowledge your sovereignty, your wisdom, and your perfect orchestration over every moment of my life. You have led me through seasons I did not understand, carried me through valleys I did not choose, and prepared me in ways I could not see. And now, as I stand on the threshold of what you have appointed, I bow my spirit before you in reverence. I confess that there were moments I doubted, moments I hesitated, moments I feared the unknown more than I trusted your voice. Yet even in those moments, you remained patient. You continued to shape my heart, sharpen my discernment, and guide my steps. Forgive me for clinging to what felt safe instead of embracing what you were calling me toward. Forgive me for the times I lowered my expectations to match my circumstances instead of lifting my eyes to match your promises. Forgive me for every hesitation that slowed what you intended to accelerate. Illuminate my path now with clarity that rises above confusion. Let every shadow of doubt dissolve in the light of your presence. Speak to me with a voice my spirit cannot deny. Guide my thoughts, my decisions, my alignments, and my actions so that each step reflects your intention, not my insecurity. Give me the wisdom to discern what must be released, the courage to walk away from what cannot come with me, and the strength to carry what you are entrusting to me in this new season. Lift from me the weight of old fears, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of missteps, fear of being unworthy. Replace them with holy confidence, grounded not in my ability but in your authority. Grant me the grace to walk in alignment with heaven's timing, not rushing ahead and not falling behind, but moving in the rhythm of your will. I ask for a boldness that does not waver when the path is unclear, a faith that stands firm even when logic disagrees, and a peace that anchors me when circumstances shift. Let the transformation you are initiating take full shape within me. Let my mind be renewed, my spirit strengthened, my heart purified, and my purpose awakened. Teach me to respond quickly when you speak, to move decisively when you open a door, and to trust completely when you command a step I cannot yet see. Let every part of my being come into agreement with your plan. And now, God, I place everything, my future, my fears, my desires, my timeline, my expectations into your hands. I surrender not because I am weak, but because I know your way is perfect. I choose to align with your call, to stand in the place you have prepared, and to walk through the door you have opened. Seal this moment in my spirit with unmistakable certainty. Let your presence rest upon me as both confirmation and covering, and let what you have begun be completed in power, in purpose, and in your perfect time. Amen. You have reached the end of this message, but not the end of what heaven is beginning within you. This moment is not a closing, it is an ignition. Everything spoken, everything revealed, everything stirred in your spirit has been preparing you for a decisive step. You are no longer standing on the edge of possibility. You are standing inside the very hour that was written for you long before your journey began. And now the call is simple and absolute. Walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with clarity. Walk forward with conviction. You are not here by accident. You did not hear these words by coincidence. Your spirit was drawn because heaven was speaking directly to you, not to your fear, not to your history, not to your limitations, but to your purpose. The weight you feel is not pressure, it is significance. The stirring you sense is not emotion, it is confirmation. And the door before you is not symbolic, it is real. You are not meant to watch your destiny from a distance. You are meant to inhabit it. You are meant to carry it. You are meant to step into what has been calling your name long before you recognize the sound. Everything that once resisted you has lost its authority. Everything that once delayed you has run out of power. Everything that once defined you has been rewritten by the one who holds your future. So rise with assurance. Step forward with strength. Move as one whose time has arrived. What heaven has opened, no force can close. What heaven has initiated, no opposition can hinder. You are meant to step into what has been calling your name long before you recognize the sound. Everything that once resisted you has lost its authority. Everything that once delayed you has run out of power. Everything that once defined you has been rewritten by the one who holds your future. So rise with assurance. Step forward with strength. Move as one whose time has arrived. What heaven has opened, no force can close. What heaven has initiated, no opposition can hinder.